It's been a streak of extremely busy gun weeks for the last, I don't know, couple months here, really.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a supercharged time, right, for the Second Amendment, especially after Bruen, and you've got, Democrats reacting to Bruen and coming. It's not just Bruen. I mean, it's Dobbs, too, right? I mean, Democrats have sort of decided that, OK, it's cool to go after the Supreme Court right now. And we got to show the base that we're fighting. And so we're seeing, all kinds of things, including the just wave of gun control bills that have come at the state level and now in the House of Representatives, too.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, obviously, you had the big Supreme Court decision, which is the first major landmark decision on guns in over a decade, really. And then you also had the Uvalde shooting, which is a huge sea change event in guns because of how horrible it was and the reaction to it, which led directly to the bipartisan gun bill that passed the House and Senate, was signed into law just last month. That is the first new restrictions on firearms at the federal level you've seen in 30 years. Whether, it's debatable about how significant they are, but still pretty big deal overall passing a gun bill at all. And now we see a new push for an assault weapons ban in the House of Representatives. We just had the House Judiciary Committee vote they went through the markup for their assault weapons ban, and they voted to move it out of committee. So we don't have a schedule yet for when, at least as of filming this, and we're doing this on Thursday, so we don't have a schedule yet for the bill being put on the floor. I mean, frankly, we might not get one, which we'll talk about. But this is the big push. You're seeing this is the first movement on an assault weapons ban since the federal assault weapons ban in 1994.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
So give me your first reaction.
Well, it's interesting because this bill has been around for over a year, right? David Cicilline voted or introduced this with Dianne Feinstein back in 2021. So Feinstein's got the companion bill. And Cicilline has the House bill. And you're right. It hasn't gotten so much as a committee hearing until now, which I find very interesting, given that, Joe Biden talks all the time about the supposed need to ban so-called assault weapons. So why are Democrats just moving on this in the House now? And I think the answer is that this isn't the only bill that the Democrats are moving on, right? So we just saw them hold a vote on protecting gay marriage or having states recognize gay marriage across state lines, right? We're seeing a vote on contraception and protecting the ability to purchase contraception. So I think this is one of a series of bills that Democrats are show bills, basically. The Democrats are holding to try to put Republicans, on the defense on some issues that generally polls 65-70% approval for, recognizing gay marriage, for ensuring access to contraception. The weird thing is, though, Stephen, as you and I were talking right before we got started here, I mean, a ban on so-called assault weapons isn't nearly as popular as some of these other items. And I think we're already seeing that in terms of some Democrats not going along with this proposal. So we know that Jared Golden of Maine is out. He's a no on the bill. Henry Cuellar of Texas is a no. There are about a half dozen or so other Democrats who said, well, I'm taking a wait and see approach. They haven't committed to voting for this. And again, as of Thursday, it's unclear. I don't think Democrats have the votes in the House. David Cicilline said on Wednesday that they were still 1 or 2 votes short. I talked with Larry Keane of the National Shooting Sports Foundation today, and he said, wait and see what happens in the Rules Committee next week, because if the votes aren't there, he doesn't think Nancy Pelosi is going to allow the Rules Committee to even take it up and bring it onto the House floor. So I understand the motivation for Democrats in doing this. When you look at the issue polls that have come out right now, the economy and inflation is the top issue by far for Republicans and independents. But then when you look at Democrats, it's right up there with abortion. It's right up there with gun policy. They're not nearly as interested in talking about the state of the economy right now for some strange reason. And so, I think there's a reason why they're doing this. I don't think it's necessarily designed to appeal to the middle. I think it's designed to reassure their base that they're fighting. And, we'll see how good that does. I mean, the fact that David Hogg interrupted this House hearing yesterday to, bloviate and preen for the cameras tells me that the younger Democratic cohort, anyway, is less than impressed with show votes.